Will tell you who the Grand Marshal is. He could not be a finer person. And I have some folks with me, and we're going to be talking about some of the history of the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department, which is a long and glorious history. But right now, let's hear about 2 minutes worth of messages from the fine people who make these broadcasts possible.
50 and Levi's 560 jeans at Johnny's Men's Shop, 605 West 3rd in Thibodaux, who reminds you to attend the Volunteer Firemen's Fair and Parade this weekend.
Push, people! You can do it! Push! We're here at the Argent Bank Product Testing Laboratory, squeezing extra benefits into Argent's incredible Value Plus checking account. That's it! Make that no-fee Visa fit and force that check card. Force it in! We've crammed Value Plus checking with benefits and convenience, like no charge for checks, no per-check fees, and no teller fees, plus travel and entertainment discounts, credit card and lost key protection, accidental death and dismemberment insurance. It's jam-packed! Ask about Argent's Value Plus Checking Preferred. It has all the same benefits of Value Plus. Plus, shopping discounts, extended warranties, eyewear discounts, trip routing, plus... Wait, that's too many! Stop!
Value Plus Checking is bursting with benefits. For details, stop in any Argent bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Who reminds you to support the Thibodaux Firemen this week.
Thank you so much, David. And we understand that Darren Font is going to be giving us some updates from the Southland Conference Women's Playoff in Monroe. And he'll be giving us those throughout the afternoon. With us right now, and for some reason I'm getting a lot of noise. David, would you come back and tell me if you're getting that too? All right, we don't know what it is. Does anybody have a pager or anything on? All right, let me try moving around a little bit. David, is that better? Okay, it may be the police unit that is parked at the corner. It's probably the police radios. So, gentlemen, come join me over here. We have with us two experts of the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department, Toppy, Esteve, who has helped to put together a great deal of the information we have today. Toppy, how many years have you been a fireman and what company?
Marie, I was a fireman for quite a few years. I was with the Protective Fire Company number 2, same company that our friend here, Clarence Reeve, belongs to. And I want to say it's a pleasure working with you all the time. You make this look so easy.
Oh, well, it's people like you who make me look good. Clarence Reeve, well, he just gave away what fire company you belong to. How many years?
61 years, Marie. I joined the fire department in 1936 when I was 17 years old. They squeezed me in. My cousin was fire chief and said they needed an extra member. They squeezed me in. So I've been in, it'll be 62 years this year.
All right, you gentlemen have seen a lot of history, and I think the wind's playing havoc with us, but you gentlemen have seen a lot of history, have seen this department grow, and earlier a lady was asking you, Clarence, when you were saying that this was the largest volunteer fire department and had all this equipment, she was amazed at the number of units.
Well, you know, Barry, this started out so many years ago that it's really grown to, I guess, conditions that are unreal. Right now we run 8 pumpers, we run a ladder truck, we have 2 squad wagons, we have a hose tender, we have an air truck, we have a command unit. That's a big city fire department. We are a little city of 16,000. That would be a fire department for a city of about 200,000. So we have to be proud of it. And after all, it's all volunteer. No one is paid, not even the chiefs anymore. Nobody's paid at all because at one time they used to get an allowance for gasoline for their cars. Not anymore. So everybody is doing it. As my son said, people helping people. That's the word today.
That's what it is. We're going to pause again in our broadcast for some messages, and we'll return with more as we await the arrival of the 1997 Thibodaux Firemen's Parade. And yes, we know who the Grand Marshal is, and we'll be telling you right around 1 o'clock. David?
All men are not alike. Some want the relaxed fit and tapered leg of the Levi's 550 jean, and others want Levi's 560 jeans with the loose fit and tapered leg. One place has both. Johnny's Men's Shop in Thibodaux. Both Levi's 550 and Levi's 560 jeans are pre-washed for softness and comfort. Your style, your colors with Levi's 550 and Levi's 560 jeans at Johnny's Men's Shop, 605 West 3rd in Thibodaux, who remind you to attend the Volunteer Firemen's Fair and Parade this weekend.
The Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department is one of Thibodaux's most outstanding assets. This weekend, we can show our support by attending the fair. Mayor Warren J. Harang Jr. knows the advantages of the Volunteer Fire Department and joins in that support. Sponsored by Mayor Warren Harang Jr. Every generation adds its own touch to the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department. Past Grand Marshal Doug Keys and the staff of Landry's Funeral Home salutes these fine individuals and remind you to attend the Firemen's Fair and Parade this weekend.
There's a special feeling about being a Grand Marshal for the Thibodaux Firemen's Fair and Parade. Join in the excitement this weekend and help to support our firemen. A message sponsored by former Grand Marshal Harold Block, who urges you to attend the fair this weekend.
Rouse's supermarkets are proud of the Thibodaux Volunteer Firemen and their service of the area. Rouse's supermarkets are always a part of the community, and along with the past Grand Marshal Donald Rouse, remind you to attend the Firemen's Fair and Parade this weekend.
Come out this weekend and show your support for the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department. This fair is their major source of funding. Troy Thompson and his staff at Thompson Construction hope to see you at the fair and parade this weekend. Sponsored by Thompson Construction.
Community service and supporting the fire department is a tradition in the Klein-Peter family. Dr. T.W. Klein-Peter and his son, John, have both been honored to be Grand Marshals. They hope you'll join them this weekend to support the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department. Sponsored by John Klein-Peter.
Thank you, and with us Toppy, Esteve, and Clarence Riviere, and I'm still getting some noises here, so I'm going to move just a little bit and see if I can eliminate that noise. Never had this problem before, but there's always a first time. That seems to be a little bit better. It could be the wind. Toppy, we've got the lineup here for the parade this year. And how does the parade usually start out?
Marie, it starts with the, you have your list right over here.
Well, let's see, while we get that together.
Yeah.
It usually starts with a band of some kind, does it not? The wind is playing havoc here.
A lot of trouble with the, this is not it.
That's not it? Let's look at the
Marie,
next
if you look at this right underneath here.
All right, there we go. Just 1 second. And, all right. The wind, one good thing, the wind is cool today. However, it blows you right off your feet. Okay, what are we going to start out with?
All right, it starts off with the
theme is states, by the way.
Yeah,
and then it will start with usually a band, and then fire companies, and all the Thibodaux fire companies come first.
All right, here's your colors, then E.D. White Band, your Grand Marshal, aides to the Grand Marshal, then it's all your big officers that are in line, and down in the 11th place is the Firemen's Fair Queen, who is Miss Sadie Lambert, daughter of Bernadette and Maurice Lambert, and they're from Lutcher. Then you have Mayor of the city of Thibodaux, and the council members,
and so forth. And after that
starts your different companies. Number 1 company this year is going to be Boy. Number 2 is going to be the VCH.
See if the wind will let you turn that page.
The wind turns the page. North Thibodaux is number 3. Protective Fire Company is number 2. Number 5 is South Thibodaux. Number 6 will be West Thibodaux, number 7, the Home Hook and Ladder Company, and number 8, last but not least, will be the fire company number 1, the oldest fire company in the city of Thibodaux.
Well, and you gentlemen both belong to the second oldest fire company in the city of Thibodaux, and this may be repetitive, but Clarence, if you would, come tell us how Protectors got their name.
Well, the Protectors got their name in a very odd manner. They purchased a second-hand hand pumper from Chalmette, Louisiana, many years ago. And when the pumper came in, painted on the handle of the pump was Protector Fire Company. So rather than paint another name, they took the name of Protector Fire Company and just added the word number 2 back of it. So in those days, you didn't have painters like you have today. So that's where the name came from, Protector Fire Company.
And the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department does not waste money, and that's a good indication. The Grand Marshals go back all the way to 1866. It is a tradition, and the Grand Marshal is selected for his services to the Volunteer Fire Department. Doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be a fireman, because there are a lot of people who provide various services to the fire department. And so this year we will have the 109th Grand Marshal, and as I said, I had the pleasure of interviewing him this morning, he and his family, and just very lovely. You're going to be proud of him. We were. It used to be, however, that the fire chiefs were the Grand Marshals, and we're talking about back in the 1800s, but that's not done anymore, is it?
No, Maria. In 1880, they changed the thing around to where they've got outsiders to be Grand Marshals, and it started off with Mr. Clarence Frost, and from that date up to this date, there's been a different fire marshal. In the old days, in 1866, when that you're speaking about, 4 years in a row, 1866 through 1869, we had the same Grand Marshal, T.S. Grismore. But of course, he was known as the chief engineer. Right now, we call them the fire chief. Marie, if I may, at this time, this gentleman standing right here with us, Mr. Clarence Reeve, is due a lot of credit. He's very modest, but he's due a lot of credit as far as the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Company. I remember when I was a fireman back in the early days, we would start tearing down the front of the house to get to the fire in the kitchen. We did a lot of things that were no-nos. Clarence went to a fire school, learned the proper techniques of fighting fires, and for instance, we used to get along the Grand Theater. Number 1s would get on one end, we would get on the other end with the number 2s and see who could out-pump one another. Of course, we were shooting water at a terrific pressure. What we didn't know, in the water lines in the system, water system, there's sand particles. And not only were we shooting water at a terrific pressure, we were shooting sand particles like BBs or 22 bullets at one another. Clarence came in with his new technique and said, that's a no-no. Of course, we didn't like it at the time, but he was stopping some of us from getting blind. He also taught us that tapoyons on trucks weren't necessarily meant just to protect the holes on the back of the trucks, but properly used, you could protect the furniture in a house where the fire wasn't at the time. You could fold these tapoyons, make gutters, and get the water out of the house. This man is responsible for a lot of goods that happen in the Thibodaux Fire Department.
All right, we're going to come back and talk to Clarence some more, but right now let's pause for some messages as we await the arrival of the 1997 Thibodaux Firemen's Parade.
With President Clinton's call for volunteers, it is wonderful to be living in South Louisiana, where helping others is already a strong component of our lives. Putting the life and property of others before yourself is the greatest gift of giving, and the volunteer firemen of Thibodaux live that spirit of true giving every day. The UK Distributing Company salutes the volunteer firemen of Thibodaux. It is with great honor that we recognize our employees who currently serve and have served in this organization. We congratulate and thank the Thibodaux Firemen for a century of dedication to our community. I'm J.J. Buquet, president of Buquet Distributing Company, your local Budweiser distributor. And on behalf of my family and our Budweiser team, we wish the Thibodaux Firemen the best of luck for a most successful 1997 Firemen's Fair and Parade.
For all you do, this Bud's for you. From your friends at Budweiser and Buquet Distributing Company.
The Jones Insurance Agency believes in the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department. Johnny, Ben, and Tim have all been members. They're as dedicated in their business as in community service. The Jones Insurance Agency reminds you to attend the fair this weekend.
State Representative Warren Trish joins in saluting all the area volunteer firemen, especially the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department, on this fair week. Be sure to come to the fair and parade to show your support. Sponsored by State Representative Warren Trish.
I rarely need a rototiller, plumber snake, or pressure washer, not to mention a chainsaw. When I do, I really need one. That's the beauty of Goff Equipment Rentals. It's like having my personal warehouse brimming with the finest tools and equipment. Because it's a rental store, I pay a small fraction of what they would cost. Plus, I get free advice. So why beg, borrow, or buy when I can rent? It's all waiting for us at Goff Equipment Rentals, West Thibodaux Bypass at Tiger Drive Extension in Thibodaux, who reminds you to attend the Firemen's Fair and Parade.
KTIB time is 12:48. Now we're going to take you live back to Marie Bergeron at the live coverage of the Thibodaux Firemen's Parade.
And we do welcome you back here to our vantage point. We're at Menard and Canal on the neutral ground, and the parade comes right through this intersection, goes to 5th Street against traffic, which is really a tradition. The Firemen's Fair has always gone against traffic, even when it was down West 3rd Street. But the route was changed, and so if you're looking for a place to watch the parade from, believe me, you have lots of spots, because it goes from 5th Street to Jackson Street, and from Jackson to St. Mary, down St. Mary to Tiger Drive, and then on to the fairgrounds. You're hearing a lot of sirens in the background. What is happening is the Grand Marshal and his group are now leaving a little pre-parade party that was going on down the street, and they're on their way to line up for this really exciting, one of a kind, by the way. And there is the Grand Marshal. He'll look over this way, give him a big wave, his family, and we welcome them. And the Grand Marshal's family, by the way, are all dressed in red. Every one of them, including the grandchildren. You realize we're giving you little hints as we go along. I think the Grand Marshal has 5 grandchildren, 3 children, and we're going to tell you who it is right before 1 o'clock. But they are going to get in line now, so they should be stepping off, we're told, at exactly at 1 o'clock. We're going to take it just a little before that and play our interview with the Grand Marshal. And Clarence, briefly, give me a synopsis. No, I'm not going to do that. Tell me what it was like in the 61 years you've been a fireman, some of the changes that you've seen.
Well, Marie, really, the major changes that have come about has been the tremendous increase in the efficiency of the equipment. As far as the membership has always been 110%. The olden day membership, the current day membership, one's as good as the other one. Which one would be better? I'd take either one if anything happened to me. But in the years that have gone by, you've had a tremendous improvement in the equipment that we use. In addition to that, we now have radio control for everything. Alarms are immediate. Fire department response to calls normally within a minute of an alarm. In the olden days, we had to wait till the bells rang, the horns rang, and you had to run for this and that. That's changed. Everything is so modern today that today the fire alarm almost tells you, let's go. That's exactly what's happening.
All right, and we've been joined by James Giat.
Hello?
Captain James? Am I to be impressed?
Not really. We all on equal grounds when it comes to fighting fires around. And like Mr. Clarence say, in the olden days, he's come up a long way, seeing a lot of things grow. In the future, it's still going to grow. All it's going to do is get better with time.
All right, now tell me the responsibility of a captain.
He's in charge of his company, his men at fire scenes. He assists the chiefs and assistant chiefs. Any function that the company has, he takes control over. And just in general, like here we are at the fair, he's going to take care of all his men and his manpower running the stands and taking care of just running the fairgrounds along with the fair chairman and all other people up top.
So the firemen just don't come out, walk along, and look great and take all this praise. They're working, too.
That's correct. They work hard all year long, and when it comes to this weekend, it's a lot of sleepless hours getting this through this weekend. They put in a lot of hard hours. They deserve a great, great applause for what they do for the public, for themselves, and the surrounding communities.
Well, if I wasn't holding this microphone, I'd applaud. You guys deserve it. We're going to pause again for some messages and then return as we await the arrival of the 1997 Grand Marshal and the Thibodaux Volunteer Firemen's Parade.
The work of the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department is serious, but you can have a good time while supporting them at their fair this weekend. A message from Gibbons & LaFleur, your Shell gas and oil distributors. Have a great time at the fair, and remember Gibbons & LaFleur for Shell products.
Congressman Billy Tozan, a past Thibodaux Firemen's Fair Grand Marshal, reminds everyone to attend the fair this weekend. Let's help to support our fine volunteer fire department. A message from Congressman Billy Tozan, sponsored by the Billy Tozan Committee.
It's a golden year because it's Nick's Refrigeration's 50th anniversary. It's their anniversary, but they have a present for you. Any Train XL 1,200 unit purchase this year includes a 10-year parts and labor warranty free. How's that for an anniversary present? Get complete details from Nick's Refrigeration, 308 Hickory in Thibodaux. Your authorized Train dealer. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. Phone 447-2647. Nick's Refrigeration reminds you to attend the Thibodaux Firemen's Fair and Parade this weekend.
For all your insurance, from auto to business, see Ben Harang, Jim Stintz, or Craig Keys at the Insurance Connection. Offices in Thibodaux and Raceland. They remind you to support the Thibodaux Volunteer Fire Department at their fair this weekend.